Hello, welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. So today I want to talk about how they can program over states and make you believe certain things, or how they might think or push a narrative to push you to do things, to blame you over the person who's really doing it, which is an aspect of an overlord, possession, demonic energy. Because this is like a Christian understanding. Okay, this is back in the day, medieval times, where possession could take place. But this is also shamanism. This is also a shamanistic perspective, so you can understand it from a shamanism way, right? So I'm going to just push this one more time. I'm going to help you understand this one more time. Okay, you got one more chance, right? One more chance to understand what I'm trying to say. And, you know, I can't help everybody. I can only help certain things. I can't help everybody because I'm not here to do that. Okay, so we're going to get into understanding aspects of evolution, growth, from a child to an adult concept, how we can understand these things, and how things can sort of be understood, but then growth can take place from that without ritualizing people all the time. Okay, because if you just ritualize people all the time, then it goes to show that you're not developed enough and you're being controlled by an overlord concept, because a certain amount of understanding needs to take place for you. I'm being serious, that an understanding needs to take place, and if you don't understand this matter of fact, that a judgment might be an overlord concept, in the Satanism concept, you might be taking people out who are good, right? So we're going to get into this. Like I said, I'm going to do it one more time. Like, I'm not joking either. Like, I'm getting annoyed. One more time. Another thing is that I'm not just talking to one person. Okay? So, like, I'm not just talking to, I'm not hating on just, one individual. I'm actually just trying to explain something to you so you can understand what I'm trying to say. This might then encourage you to rise on a tree to understanding. Okay? Because I've been there for a while now. Okay? I don't just go around ritualising people. That's not my thing, right? Unless. But I don't do that. Like, there's been a very, very long time now where I've just, I've come to an understanding of this over theoretical underpinnings and principles. So now I can sort of bring it to you so you can understand this. And if you don't understand it, that's fair enough. If you want to take it, you can take it. If you don't want to take it, then don't take it. But there's a reality at play here as well. Okay? And also, I like to say, is that the reality, it is all the dimensional concepts as well. That's the reality. Oh, and also YouTube, if you use my content to invert, or anybody else uses my content to invert my streams, okay, then there'll be an inversion on yours, and it will be more so consequence, right? So you might think YouTube bought it because I've put it on YouTube, but there's an understanding taking place here, right? And I'm going to bring it to you like this. Just because I've posted on YouTube, it doesn't mean it's your content, okay? I don't care what you think I've signed. I haven't signed anything, right? So I haven't signed anything. Same goes to Facebook as well. If you use my content, if you use my pictures, then it goes back onto you. What you've done to me goes back onto you like tenfold, right? So that's another thing that I want to say. If you use things that are private or personal to me, and I've shared that with public people, doesn't mean that you can take that and use it as your will, right? And if you have said that in any of your contracts when I've signed onto YouTube or Facebook or any other content creator platforms, then you have to understand that there's going to have to be a consequence to take place that redirects you back on from the public to you, okay? Right, so first I want to get into child development. I know it sounds random, but let's get into child development because I'm going to bring it all together, okay? So, when you're a child, you grow up, you learn, okay? You're learning, okay? You know, nobody's a saint. This is one thing that I heard. Nobody is a saint, okay? And this is something that, you know, you'll have to understand, is that when we come into a world that is already corrupt, okay, and things aren't already ordained or put in place, or if things have already been manipulated, you have to understand that everyone's sort of rowing in the same boat, right? We're rowing in the same boat, okay? So we have to really understand now that if you're rowing in the same, if we're all on this plane together, we're rowing in the same boat concept, right? So you can't just pick and choose who you think should be right and wrong. I mean, have you studied? You know, what are your credentials, right? So this is why I'm trying to bring it to you in an aspect of understanding, okay? A queen or a madame or a ma, okay? Or a higher priestess, because this is a higher priestess, right? So it can be understanding them ones, or it can just be we are crown concept, and it's individual in your body field, okay? So we're going in there, right? But we're going to understand this from a societal perspective. If we are born into a world where you know, things aren't right, there's corruption taking place, you know, people or children aren't being looked after or being lied about, you have to understand that there has to be some sort of process to this. There has to be an understanding that takes place. That if there's a level of corruption, a lot of children are going to grow up, okay, because they're just children. You've got to think their mind is developing. You've got to think there's going to be a lot of children who are growing up with maybe a false sense of security, no trust, no stability, none of this stuff within a home concept, right? So, you know, I guess it's already within you already, but if you have a mind and it's being manipulated by a demonic energy as well, so we've got to think, understand possession, or you know, things like this. So you have to really get into grips of understanding all these concepts. You've got to think you're an adult, you're listening to me, and you're looking at all these little kids, right? And you've got to think of it from that perspective, because now you're an adult, okay? So you've got to think all the things that you've been through in your life, or something that may have happened to you, and then you look at the situation and you go, right, okay, how are we gonna, how can we make this clean, better place? Okay, so what's the first thing that I would say? Make things a child-centered approach. Like, we care about the children more, we care about a bit of dollar or whatever, right? And this is the truth, okay? So this is the reality of what's happening here. Okay, we have to really think about what's going on. Because I'm a mother, right? So I am there. You know? So let's get into like how we can then look at society and go, what sort of things do we have to learn and go and process in our time? You know, you don't just go around, like, for example, ritualizing everybody just because some bloke paid you some money to do it, or because somebody possessed you to do it, or you thought that ancestor was telling you to do it. Now let's get into ancestors. Let's just understand this. You think your ancestor is coming to talk to you, right? We have to really digress this concept. If an ancestor is coming to you, right, because I've never had this experience, never have, right? And if I have, it's on a programmable state that isn't a true concept, yeah? It's just to make you believe that, like, there's somebody there, that it's a false sense of security again, right? And there's a reason, okay? Because this world is a negative world, because we were brought up in a negative world, okay? I had Scorpio and Pluto. Everyone was brought up in negativity, some way or another. But there was a positive stream that passed through. And it was music in the 90s. Woo! Right? So, we have to understand, okay, that yeah, it's a form of escapism. But at the end of the day, it's not just a form of escapism. It's a form of happiness. And we need to balance that out. So when people talk about escapism and that's not necessarily the case, is it? You need to balance out all the bad with a good, with a happiness, right? I'm not talking to like adults now. I'm talking to kids or people who are depressed, right? And there's a reason. And it's because you got people who are down, who ain't got anything, and they still want to go around thinking they're judges. And they're not in spiritual realms. This is an interesting one. Like judgment, they're pulling on judgment, but you've got possessions taking place, right? So you've got to look behind you. Who's coming? Are they your ancestors? Because it doesn't look like it's my ancestor to me, mate. Right? Because they're all blacked out, and what they're doing is they're programming over states. This is how they're doing it, and I'm telling you because they're not telling you. So I'm telling you. So it stops. So you have people. They can. Right, okay, let's get into possession. So what they can do is they can take your memories. Because I can't remember my childhood. Why can't I remember my childhood? To take your memories. Take your good. They take your good in memories, right? They make you forget stuff. And then when you get older, if you find yourself in aspects of judgment, if you're a victim, they can give it all back to you. And that's what they've been doing, right? So to all the children out there, don't listen to them, right? They're just doing it on purpose, right? You've got to create a strong sense of reality there. Mind, okay? Mind, strong mind. And not for you people who go around pushing judgment on people, but understanding for the people who go around pushing judgment on people, you're being possessed. Or there's an overlord possessing you, so you create revenue to do their bidding on a societal construct. This is judgment. This is Satanism. And it's like, fair enough, I'm not bothered. I'm not scared of Satanism, right? And this is why I'm talking about it. I'm not scared of it. The real reason why, if I ever was because I had, something to protect. And I have something to protect. But ultimately, at the end of the day, because a mother concept is a protective, nurturing energy. So let's get into understanding how they can take your memories and then in a programmable state, push that back, because it's changed now. It's not like what it was before. Okay? And they had this technology since 1950s anyway. Right? So it's an ancestral concept, but it's not. Because it's a programmable state. If they're gone, or what do they just need? What do they just need? A bloody picture. That's it. Or you go back into your memory bank under a form of possession, and then they take that. That's what they've been doing. Because they already have, right? They already have been doing it since 1950s. So get that one straight. Okay? So now what is it? They're coming out saying astral travel's real, CIA astral travel's real, right? That's what they came out with not long ago, right? And it's released and no one's bothered, right? Whatever. It's a programmable state. And you got to think, the understanding of evolution, right? How have we evolved? What has changed? What is the reality to this? Okay, so 2020 when there was COVID, that happened. Everyone was injected. There were key workers. People were injected with nanobot technology. So they're there, aren't they now? Or are they down here, or what happened to them? Right, so you was all injected with nanobot technology. So let's understand it from this perspective. Everything's changed because you've got something running through your veins that's different. Okay, it's different. So another thing as well is that you can get rid of that. Okay, you can as well get rid of it. I'll talk about that another time because I know how to do it. I haven't had this either. Right, so I haven't had this technology put through me. Okay. So you've got to understand that what else has changed since 2020, okay? What else has developed, okay? So this is like sort of how we're going to understand how this world is going to go from, okay? And this is also how you have to understand 1950, how they were doing it anyway, through digital construction. How? Tellies were made, okay? You got to think, once they started learning how to do like technology with the tellies, all I did on the dimensions was tell you how a telly worked under a dimensional construct. Okay, so this is all I did. Understanding the dimensions, go back to it if you don't understand it. So then you got 5D. What's that? That's a TV program. What they're doing, 5G towers, I think they were 4D, weren't they? They changed them all to 5G, right? See that? Right? So 5G towers. Well, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? What does that sound like? Oh, it sounds like 5D. Oh, we're rising to 5. No, we're not. Usually what you'll find is, where are these 5D created spaces? Well, they're on like company buildings and stuff like that. The company owns them because it's a corporate superstate, right? Wherever you are, wherever you live, whatever's going on, right? So I'm telling you, because nobody knows this. And I have to say this because it's kind of like, it's kind of just, that's how we've got to go about this.